What's going on, guys? This is Jobless Mike with a game review. Actually, it is not actually a settlements video for Fallout 4, but this is a game review for the Division beta. I like the game. I heard a lot of reviews about it. I do have a couple things to say though. As you can see, this is one of the beta missions. Spoiler alert! I don't even know if I can call it a spoiler alert. It's a beta, for goodness sakes. But here's some gameplay that you see. It plays more like a third-person shooter, I'd say, a la Army of Two, Kane and Lynch, that kind of thing. Graphics-wise, really isn't on par with a lot of games, but from what I heard, this is just the beta. They're cleaning everything up. If you're playing games like Witcher 3 or whatever, like massive MMOs or RPGs, this may or may not be for you. It kind of reminds me of, like again, third-person shooter like Kane and Lynch or Army of Two, with the mix of maybe a little bit of Destiny in it. When you'll know what I mean. Destiny has a social zone on Earth, on the main planet, and also has a social zone for the aliens at the reef. Here you have two kind of bases, which are kind of like social zones where you get to meet up with other players. It is a fairly decent-sized map with a dark zone, but in the beginning of the beta, they introduced it as a coverage shooter where you have to duck behind cover for shooting. But in the same breath, they say it's an RPG just because you have a couple skill sets. In my opinion, this is not an RPG. It is a shooter. It plays very much like a shooter. I would not want the developers or the publisher to fool you into thinking that this is an RPG by any means, in any way, shape, or form. Calling this an RPG would be calling Destiny an RPG. And I would say, because of how Destiny's playstyle is, Destiny would be more like an RPG shooter, how the story mode is told or the leveling up, in a very thin sense of the word. And let me say very thin sense of the word. But this, I guess they call it an RPG because there's a deep story and there is maybe a crafting table or two that I saw on one of the bases. Unfortunately, a lot of the features of the game are not available during the beta test. The beta was real quick. I think I played the main story for the beta in maybe 30-35 minutes or so. And then I I went in and I tried and tested the Dark Zone area. Maybe the Dark Zone challenges for me, maybe not. I noticed that I went in, no communications, somebody shot at me, and I fired back, but it actually was one of the guys, apparently a player. It told me at that point that I, spoiler alert, disavowed the Division. Now, I don't know what that means at that point in time. I died, it took some of my equipment, and then it said that I went rogue. Not to get caught if I went rogue. And apparently what that might mean is that the Division at that point turns into maybe a survival game where you're by yourself. You might be like one of these survivors with a few guns and you're just every man for himself at that point, and you're fighting against the military and against the locals. But, I mean, who knows? It's a fun game. Don't get me wrong. I could see myself playing this. I could see myself buying it. Be well warned though, at the end of the Division, once you're done playing the main storyline, if you try to skip through the dialogue, it might bring you to a screen where it tries to get you to pre-order the gold version or the, one of the versions of the game for 99 bucks, and I wouldn't want somebody to be trying to get through a bunch of dialogue and fast forward themselves into purchasing something in the store. But, again, cool game, cool concept. It's like an MMO / shooter / whatever, third person. The weapons are very current. I saw things like M4 carbines, M16s, AK-47s, pistols, 357s, shotguns, you name it. I mean, weapons seem fairly customizable, but again, it might not be for everybody. This is not an RPG, it's more so a shooter that has a few skill level ups. But again, this is the beta. They might change things in a couple weeks. Who knows? Nowadays, betas are just handed out for free. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Thank you. It's Jobless Mike.